On our podcast show this week, we do a little catching up with you, our audience. There are 191 of you that are subscribed to us, and we thank each and every one of you for that. Appreciate it. But many of you have some commitment issues. So this is our chance to win you over, hopefully. This is Winston and I's 36th show, our 42nd podcast, and we are midway through season 4. That's a long time. Neither of us thought we'd ever reach this point, but here we are. Did you ever think we'd get here, Winston?
No. To be honest with you, before I start and continue, I have to say thank you to all of you who've subscribed and watch our podcast each and every week. So thank you. Wow. Never would have thought that we'd get this far, to be honest. I'm really pleased to hear today talking about this because I really enjoy recording past podcasts with you, Stephen. And thank you for this opportunity.
It's very interesting. I want to share a fact here with you. The fact that we've gone this far is actually quite extraordinary. I guess this is a study that was done around the pandemic when everyone just decided they wanted to do a podcast. 90% of podcasts don't get past episode number 3. So
really?
We've done that. We're way past number 3.
Wow. Okay.
And guess what? Of those podcasts that get to 20 episodes, 90% of those hosts decide to just faff off and do something else as well too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So not bad, Winston. Well done. So what that means is that the only competition that we have of all the new podcasts that started around 21 is the 10% that didn't quit. And that includes both of us. Pretty cool, right?
I didn't realize it's almost like, people when they do startups, right? They say 90% of startups fail. Yeah. So is that similar to what podcasts, when people start their own podcasts, they'll do it for a couple of podcasts and I'll just quit.
Well, they lose the fire because the way that we started things is that we actually had a strategic plan to get all our episodes recorded in advance so that once we start releasing them and seeing people actually having some effect, some views, we actually get jazzed up and we want to do more. So I think that a lot of podcasts, because they've been done on the fly with little planning, no rundowns, they're not sustainable. The ideas don't always come to you, and you really need a buffer for those weeks that you really need to take a break. In fact, most of our viewers probably never knew that we took breaks throughout the entire period of us releasing all 42 podcasts. We actually took off. We weren't even around.
Christmas period, I think I remember. And then there's, of course, the Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, and a couple of things like that. You went to Italy,
I went to Italy in between that. We didn't release a podcast for one of the 2 weeks, but we kept it up. But we told everyone that we were going to be gone for 2 weeks, and that gives us the time to take a break physically, and also for you to take a break from the show, because sometimes you kind of have to lose something to realize how much you really loved it. And after we did that break, we picked up another 30 subscribers.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like a refresh, have a little break, then focus on some new ideas and things like that. So yeah, it really helped. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And it's always good to take a break, of course. So not quitting means we really enjoy what we're doing, right? My favorite, and because we've got so many episodes, my favorite episodes that we've done are actually the ones where we watch a big company like Samsung or Apple and Google announce things. In fact, they're some of our most popular episodes. But what I love to do after I've taken the notes and everything, is I really like to rip on them for doing silly things.
That's right. I mean, there's positives, right, and negatives. You can't just talk about the positives. You can always have to pinpoint some of the negatives because that's what people do. I mean, Samsung got some great products, same as Apple. But then there's also things which, are really that gets on your nerves, and you just have to say it.
Yeah. And, we also learn things as well, too. I mean, who would have thought that after going through a podcast that you took note, that you actually took notes and you didn't just watch it, that you would realize that a company like Samsung, they started creating their foldable strategy, their foldable phones. They were asking their engineers to create something after the first Note hit the market. That was a huge phone back then. But when we look at it today, it's such a small phone. So I think that the management were like, okay, if phones get bigger than this, they have to get smaller too. So, hey, engineer section over here, you guys need to create a folding phone. Okay. So, and it took them like years, like eight years to get it right, to get it to the point where they can actually sell this to you and me, which is crazy, right?
I mean, feedback is important. And that's why Stephen and I, when we do podcasts, we always ask you guys to leave a comment, because the comments do matter and it helps us to progress and improve our podcasts, our topics, stuff like that. So yeah, feedback is important.
And speaking of comments, lately, they've been a little bit quiet.
Oh,
yeah,
little cricket sounds.
Crickets there. Yeah. So if you want to get our attention, definitely leave a comment, because we're not too big that we won't answer you. Like, we're not Mr. Beast where we have thousands of comments and we have to close the comments. Leave something down below. We'll respond. Don't worry about it.
Of course.
I also love doing the EV episodes with you, Winston. I like the fact that you bring a completely fresh perspective, that, you're not expecting anything. And then a lot of times you raise questions that I'm like, kind of take that for granted. No, you're right. That actually is very important. Yes. And here's how you do things, right? So having you along for that is extremely important. And because Canada is leading, BC, British Columbia, where we are, is leading in EV adoption with like 20, I think it's like up to 20% vehicles. Every new vehicle, 20% are EVs now. It's crazy. We are leading the pack. And we're going to have a show coming up that is looking at a problem with the growth in Canada, and it's all because of Tesla's fault. And we'll tell you more in that episode. I just have to do a little bit more research so I don't look like an idiot.
Well, the EVs are a big thing, and I recently saw an advert just popped up on my Facebook feed. There was a new car from Lexus. So Lexus is doing an all-electric SUV, and boy, it looks good.
Finally.
It looks good.
I just hope it's not a BYD, which is just a rebrand.
I think with the Lexus brand, they're after quality.
Yeah, they have to do something.
You can expect that.
Yeah, because the Subaru and the Toyota are both BYD. Like, BYD is the biggest EV manufacturer in China, and they basically rebranded a car, like how you see the sleazy Polaroid brand is on everything. That's like, what they did.
It's like OEM, right?
Oh, it's even worse, because Toyota didn't really do anything. Subaru didn't really do anything. They just said, make it this color. Can you put our logo on it? Thanks. We're just going to put it out there so that we have something in the market. And I think that is wrong. That's so wrong. Toyota consumers, Subaru consumers are extremely brand loyal. And if you do that to them one time and they get smart about that, you're not going to have those customers when you completely turn over to EVs, because they won't trust you anymore, right?
Well, Stephen, thanks to your expertise in EVs, podcasts, and all that kind of stuff, it's really helped me consider buying an EV. And I hope it did the same for you guys and the listeners out there. I did really enjoy those special episodes that we did also, like the Apple event, the Samsung Unpacked event, Google announcements, and the Amazon show. And I love having guests on our show as well. We could do more of those later on in the year. So
like our friend Matt from Pig Radio, and also EVGA. I hope they're doing very well. Jacob was willing to share as much as he could, but I'm sure that he saw this coming. He just couldn't talk about the whole coming crisis of NVIDIA and EVGA breaking up. So that was unexpected. But yes, definitely. And we also had a few other guests that I can't remember. Alex about fishing.
Alex May.
And we're going to get more guests coming up as well too, as we get moving along with the podcast as we move into season 5. There's going to be a lot of little minor changes that you might notice, but I hope that they're ones that you enjoy. So moving along with career and life. So there was a reason. Yeah. There was a reason why this podcast actually started. First of all, thank you everyone for subscribing and also listening, because these podcasts on the surface, they might seem like we just go out and then we do them and they're done. But in reality, these podcasts take quite a bit of work. And that's basically what we do for the rundown. Recording it, like we just sit down, we record them, bang, bang, bang. Those are done. but just thinking about what we want to do throughout the week and creating those rundowns and everything like that so that we have a show that makes sense is actually the work that's required. So we have to be tuned into the industry, and we also have to be able to figure out how to present that material in such a way that it's not boring, right?
I mean, especially once we record it, it's not just that's it. We upload it. We also do the time codes. That's important because then people can skip to certain parts of the podcast to listen on certain topics and things like that. And that takes time for us to listen back and put in the time codes in. Steven does the what you call the thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. So that takes
time codes, titles, you know, the SEO type little bits that help you find our podcast and you know, connect with us, right? So those are all things that are very important. Those are all parts of the show, right? And also, you know, a little bit of editing and, you know, fixing the audio so we sound the same level. Those are things that we have to do because otherwise you don't enjoy yourself and you don't enjoy listening. So
that's right. Yeah.
Of all that work involved, it was actually, I think everything came together and doors opened. So last year, around January, I was actually I laid off from a tech TV and radio show in Canada. It's one that you might know. I won't mention it here because I don't know if I have an NDA that needs to expire. So I'm just going to say nothing. But basically what had happened is that I brought a feature set. I brought a skill set that was going to help them grow on YouTube, but it took too long. And the reason why is because the focus of the show and the radio is obviously the TV show and radio show, right? So where does that leave YouTube? Where does that leave platform growth? Where does that leave social media? Really doesn't give us a lot of time because as we know, and everyone here that's listening to a YouTube podcast is very smart about this, is that the things that they put on TV do not work very well on YouTube because everyone needs to know that they're not wasting their time watching a video and that within the first 10 seconds, we have to catch your attention. So all the preamble, all the intros, all the credits and everything like that, that's stuff that doesn't really work so well on YouTube. It's fine for TV and all the TV credits, but the skill set that I brought was trying to get you to be more engaged. And eventually, I think this was like
2021. Okay.
When Windows launched Windows 11.
Windows 11, yeah. I
remember that?
Yeah.
So
free upgrade.
Yeah, the free upgrade, right? Free upgrade to Windows 11, right? And they were just starting to roll it out to the power users and everything. Like most of the consumers didn't even know this existed. And what had happened is that I had enough time between projects that I actually did a lot of work on my own. I tested upgrading many different systems using some of the hacks that were available at the time.
Yep.
And I was able to upgrade a Microsoft Surface Pro, the original one, to Windows 11. It runs okay, but it needed more RAM. But obviously it's soldered, so there's nothing you can do. And I also upgraded a Dell XPS 15, which doesn't have the right processor. It has the TPM chip, but it doesn't have the right processor. So I was able to upgrade that. I was also able to upgrade a lower end laptop that didn't have TPM, didn't have anything that was required on the requirement list. And I upgraded that. And I'm like, hey, you know what? This would make a good YouTube video because I'm telling you exactly what you need to know. So I made that video with the team.
Yeah.
And what happened is that it blew up. 100,000 views.
I heard that you
250,000 views, 500,000 views. It started going up and up and up and up. And the reason why I know that it had an impact was our friend Dwayne Carroll from Modders Inc.
Modders Inc. Yeah.
He reached out to me on Twitter. He's like, Steven, is that your video? I'm
what did you do?
Yeah. It's like, what did you? Yeah, exactly. What did you do? Can you help me make my videos better? I'm like, well, I didn't really do anything different than what I normally do. I just had time to do it. And this is the fakest thing that you can hear on YouTube is that no one does any work and it just happens. I did a ton of work to make that video work. I found out I found exactly what needed to be done to make what needed to be done to do that hack. at the time, and I documented every single thing, but I hooked you in because you were watching me go through the entire process so that you wouldn't miss anything.
Yeah, you figured out the process, right?
I figured out the process.
And also what Google wants, YouTube, that kind of stuff, which adds quality and, the engagement that pulls people in. So you figured out a formula almost, right? And kind of applied it to that video, and then it did what it did.
It's a bit of formula, but it's also like I'm literally giving you exactly what you're looking for. It's like, why can't I upgrade to Windows 11? How do I get past these requirements, right? And those are questions that were directly answered. Even the follow-up video, like a lot of people love the video that I did. The method worked. It changed a little bit as Microsoft was trying to navigate this. But the second video that I did that had more streamlined techniques, not the most streamlined ones, but most techniques that most people would want to kind of venture through. I just kind of covered the points. I addressed directly the community saying that, my first video was too long-winded, but that's okay. I have faster method. And that video also did well. So that channel made its first million viewed video in like record time. They've never done that before. So 100,000, 500,000, 750,000. That video made a few $1,000s.
That's nice.
It also introduced 10,000 new subscribers to the channel in one video.
That's wow. That's
right.
That's really good.
But unfortunately, because the powers that be, there's more than one boss here. Like my direct boss, and then there's everyone else in the company. They didn't see value in having YouTube growth like that because, like again, if it's something you don't understand, you get very afraid of it, and you should probably put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't understand, the power of social media.
Yeah.
An example is when I'm not sure if you guys probably heard of it. Of course, I have a restaurant. My family restaurant's based in Cardiff, Wales, in UK, and we've been there since I was a kid. So we've been there like 30 plus years. A family restaurant, Chinese restaurant, and over the years, our local community, we served our local community really well and everything. Everybody knows us. People used to come in to the restaurant to eat, and they ask about us as kids. And then, hey, how's Winston doing? I heard he's in Hong Kong and so on, stuff like that, right? So it's very family-owned, family-run. Everyone gets really well.
Yeah.
Gets on really well. And then suddenly next door, an old couple left the property and a new couple moved in, right? New couple moved in.
Yep.
And this used to be an ex-judge in London, ex-judge, high court judge. Turns out that his wife was complaining about the smells of the Chinese food coming from the restaurant.
Interesting.
So he puts in a complaint into the environmental blah blah blah, local council. Then we had to discuss stuff for the restaurant, the extractor and everything, and basically they were suing us. And my brother was like, "Oh, what's going on here? No, it's just stressing me out. We're going to close the restaurant. We were planning to close the restaurant because of over this." Turns out our local councillor in the region, in that area, a community there, supported us, and all the people within that village, within that town, supported us, and it went on social media.
Yeah,
and I only knew about it when I was reading South China Morning Post.
Oh my God.
On the news. It's like, what the hell? I'm in Hong Kong. I'm reading this news, and it was like, support the Summer Palace. That's the restaurant's name.
Oh my God.
And they went to the news people in over here as well.
Yeah.
France, Australia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and everybody's asking, "Hey, Winston, you
are closing.
Famous.
You are not closing."
And then the pandemic hit, right? And then basically the ex-judge, whatever, put in the complaint. They dropped the complaint because of saying that it's not the right thing to do during the pandemic.
It's in poor taste.
Yeah, in poor taste.
It's in poor taste.
So in the end, social media, man, it really kind of like the power is unbelievable. Well, for the right cause.
Yes.
For the right cause.
Well,
right?
like you said there, it's a community came together. So, the pieces that work for YouTube are not only we did the sustainable part first. Now we're working on community, right? We're 40 shows in, but we still need a community around us, and hopefully we're getting you guys in the show. And also, consistency, right? We made sure that we were consistent in our delivery, right?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
We consistently put out a show for you every week, even if when we weren't there, but you got something from us, right? And we'll continue to deliver that value. So those were the things that I tried to bring to a legacy TV radio show, but that's not how the business is structured to receive that type of revenue. I mean, if one video made you that much money and got you that much popularity, imagine if every month you put out a video like that, you would probably be able to run the entire site doing that. Yeah. It's no problem, right? It was literally, I had enough time.
So their focus was more on real TV, real radio, rather than the web-based kind of
I would
social...
call it legacy media.
Right.
They were focused on legacy media. I mean, there was all these plans to work with, like telecom providers, content providers, the more traditional, the funding and everything like that. There's comfort in having a steady paycheck, where the government's always paying you this much to produce this many shows and everything like that. There's always that. But at some point, don't you get tired of having sponsors tell you what to do? I mean, that video did all that by itself, and we answered to nobody. Microsoft is probably mad, but we made enough money to make that worthwhile, right? And it was worth my time.
Yeah.
I spent 40 hours on it. The video made, it's still making money today.
It's paid itself.
It's paid itself. It's paid itself, and because it's made money on its own, it's actually made everything grow. It lifted ships. So
true.
What can you say, right? So it wasn't what they wanted.
So tell us more about what's your, what happened after that? I mean, tell us the...
Oh, my God. So it was a blessing in disguise, right? So it let me have some more time to kind of think about what needed to happen. I always had these ideas about how to make a podcast more efficient.
Yeah.
And they're working because we can actually put out a show every week. So some of the things have worked out. And I started acting.
Oh, yeah.
And I booked my first commercial.
That was quite a surprise. I knew you had you were into that media stuff. I saw your socials and stuff like that. But yeah,
that was weird. Heck, that was weird. Right?
Tell us, is it difficult to get in, or is it something that you've always wanted to do? Are you
kidding?
Tell me.
It's as far as my dream is to do certain things. Actor was not one of them, right? Yeah. You tell your parents at the Summer Palace, "Hey, Mom, I want to be an actor." Hiya, Winston.
There's no money.
No, there's no money. You'd be broke on the side of the road. Hiya, you eating MSG for life.
Uncle Roger says there's no money.
Right. So it's not a career that has stability, or like for most people, right? You start out, you starve. So luckily enough, and being on camera is completely different than doing anything else, right?
Oh, Hell yeah.
I'm fine on camera. I'm fine on the radio. I can do all that stuff. I've been behind and in front of the camera, so I'm comfortable on both sides. Yeah. And a friend of mine came up and said, "Hey, I want to represent you. I also want your kids too, but I want to represent you first. Your kids are cute, but I want them too." And
so it's almost like a manager, right? Kind of thing. Is that right?
Agent.
Okay, agent.
Excuse me. So I got an agent, or she got me, because she was looking for people that weren't necessarily mainstream beautiful, right? Because in order to sell products,
like a average guy kind of thing, right? Guy.
It's more this. It's like influencers work because they're effective because you can see yourself being that person. So that more realism, that more authenticity, right? So she's building a roster of regular looking people, older and everything like that. And like filling those gaps in the marketplace that need to be filled, where people buying product authentically, that's believable, right? So I did a bunch of auditions. I got called back a number of times, wasn't quite the right fit. The most famous one that I did recently, most famous one that I actually lost out on was a game commercial. It's detergent, and I know that they tested a Arab or a Persian guy, a Caucasian guy, African American dude, and me. So they had all the colors covered, and they let the client decide which one of these guys worked. And I was on a very short list because I know that I was looking at the chat window, like it was only just us. So ultimately, they decided to go with the African American guy. And when I watched the commercial, I was like, you know what? I can't imagine this video not having you, dude. Good job, right? Because you have to be able to take that feedback and say, hey, I can imagine myself doing that ad, but not as good as you, man. So well done.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it is touch and go kind of thing. I mean, it's right now. I don't want to be politically correct or anything like that, or that kind of thing. Right now, it's all about the pronouns, right? Okay, the non-binary and all the whatever's happening in the current situation in this year and last year, whatever, and next year. So whatever is in at the time, people go for, right? So if you look at all the commercials back in the 80s, 80s, even 90s, it's mostly Caucasian.
They would not pass muster these days. They would definitely be a little bit more.
And then once you the 80s, you notice and 90s, a lot of the sports stars, American football, baseball, boxing, all that kind of stuff. You're gonna get more people of color.
Yep.
Going into becoming more famous and
Michael Chang. Don't forget Michael Chang.
Yeah,
he's the only guy that our parents cheered for. Michael Chang. He was the only guy.
More people of color in adverts. So it's changing with times. It's changing with the times, and it's you're right. What better time to go in commercials, acting, and stuff like that? Look at all the Asian films out there now. Shang-Chi and
Everywhere,
what's that
all
one
at once.
That one is
Michelle
winning
Yeoh.
loads of awards.
Big Sister Michelle Yeoh.
That's right. That's right. So it is right now, I think, a good time.
It's a good time to be
even
Asian.
your kids get in there.
It's a good time to be Asian, right? But speaking of politics, let me tell you the funniest story. In my acting career, which is not that long, and this is my second role of all time, is when, and this is way before all this stuff happening with China. So when I was selected for this role, I was very proud because the entire cast was Asian. And what we were doing is we were celebrating mom and dad's birthday. The house was decorated correctly. There was a piano back there. Obviously, they love the sister better because she's smarter. You get the vibe, right? If you're Asian, you're like, oh, this place looks like home. Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and they had everything. It was great. And the premise behind the ad was that a balloon will ruin everything.
Balloon.
So, yes. So this is back in November 2022, right?
So they didn't release it, right?
No, they did not release it. And it was slated to be released in February 2023.
Right.
One of two things could have happened. It could have been Chinese New Year, or it could have been Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It would have been a Super Bowl ad. Because
you could have been watched by millions of people.
I could have been watched by millions of people. But in this case, if they had released that ad, millions of people would have hated me because the way I looked, right? And a balloon ruining everything would have been like, oop, I think we made a mistake there. And that's a Super Bowl ad. They're not cheap. So
They're not cheap.
That is hilarious. But they spent a ton of money on it. Like, you have no idea. I was just kind of doing the spreadsheet in my head of like, there's 25 people on that stairway right now.
I mean, they could release it next year.
They could release it next year, or they can release it in the summer. But the bottom line is that they're not going to hang on to it. And it's going to come out eventually. You're going to see my mug in it. And, just tweet at me if you see me, okay? But eventually that's going to come out. So other things that have been good about not being a regular career salaryman is that I do have more flexibility to do things like this. I do spend more time with my kids. Obviously, the wife is not happy that I have all this free time.
Well, it's taking comes, isn't it? I mean, you spending more time with the kids, you're looking after your kids, you get more time to do your stuff that you want to do, right? So it's give and take.
Yeah,
Gotta compromise.
But you've also had a career change as well too.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm really glad it's all turned out great for you, Stephen. So I'm really happy for you there. As you know, I'm from the UK. I worked in Hong Kong for almost 10 years, and then things happened. You probably heard the news. Things happen, and I was thinking of either going to Taiwan or move to Canada with my girlfriend at the time, right? Anyway, I decided to go to Canada with my girlfriend. Now she's my wife, right? So when I first arrived in Canada, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was running FunkyKit website, but over the last few years, a lot of online media or websites were shutting down. Hex is gone, BitTech's gone.
Yes.
And Hard OCP, I look up to, it's gone, right? So it's a difficult business, this media business. It's difficult. So so I decided to, when I was in Canada, I thought, okay, what else can I do? So I knew you were in Canada, so I contacted you, and I wanted to do something that we can call our own.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got over 40 years of IT experience between us. Right?
And honestly,
so
you picked the worst place. You picked absolutely the poorest place. Poor. We are money poor for media of all places, right? The only and again, the only website the only media that is here is Linus.
Yeah.
Linus Tech Tips. That's it.
Hey, listen. So yes, you're right. Linus is in Canada.
It's only Linus.
But hey, listen, I marketed myself as international media.
That's
right?
good. Keep it.
Because I'm not based in Hong Kong. I'm not based in Canada, really. Yeah, I originally started in the UK, but in today's world, where you can work from home, where you can work abroad remotely, you can't be based in one location. It's I could be in Taiwan, I could be back in the UK. So things have changed. Work relationships have changed, and I say to all the vendors out there, look, you're not going to be finding me in one location. We're international, so that's how I marketing myself.
And Richmond, BC is international. It's basically Taiwan and Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's right. So I decided to contact you, and it was like something out of the blue, really. Right? I didn't, say, hey, so Stephen, you want to do something together? And this is how we started our podcast, and we never looked back. I really enjoy it because it gives us at least an hour, a couple of hours a week where we can speak to each other, record our podcast, and talk about things that we like and we love, and
share with you.
Share with you.
Yeah, that's
right. And something that again, we have 40 years of IT experience between us.
That's a long time.
I mean, that's a lot. Yeah, and and something that we want to share with you guys. And I think if you didn't enjoy the podcast, or if you didn't enjoy recording the podcast, we wouldn't be here. And hope to continue with you. With Stephen to bring content, bring this podcast to you for you guys to listen. So it's something that I look forward to continuing going forward. But I'll still run the website and going forward as well. I could be looking into other projects. It depends. But I'm keeping myself busy as well as much as I can anyway. So.
Yeah, well, family life is also a different kind of busy, and you can't really mix it with the career and work stuff, right? That's priority. And a lot of times our podcasts get derailed because I need to pick up my kid, or my kid's being bad, or
yeah,
he needs to be driven somewhere. Like, oh God, not again.
There's a lot of things. Yeah, work-life balance, right? I mean, again, family comes first. I understand that. There are plenty of times where people don't know there's podcasts, not just this podcast, other podcasts as well, where we have to try and find a time that's right for us. It could be, last minute, changes. Oh, I can't record today. We got to record tomorrow. Yeah. And then tomorrow comes along. Oh, something had come up. And then some of the podcasts are literally recorded on the day of release.
Yes,
right?
It's happened before. Many times, that's actually. Right. Many times.
Yeah. So it's not, we record one day, that's it. And then upload it. There's a lot of work behind it. And I hope you appreciate that. It's something that we want to do to bring this content to you, and hope you enjoy it. Yeah, definitely.
And make sure you leave comments. It's the only way that we know that we're doing a good job. We're basically like a ship without a rudder right now. We have no idea if we're doing this right. But since the numbers keep going up, I guess that's okay. We'll just kind of, we'll work with the stats, okay, until you guys are ready to talk to us, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So, moving on here, and please ask us questions and everything like that. And if you do want to know a little bit more about where I was, it was a Canadian show, Canadian radio show and TV show. Let me know. And of course, you do know that Linus is also here in the sphere. He doesn't live too far away from me.
All right.
And his office is in Langley, British Columbia, which is where I often hang out because I have to take my kids to many things, like all their after school activities and to school and whatnot. So he's close. Like it's like, wow, like he's here. And it's funny that there is actually a connection between Linus and my old job where I was. Is that
all right?
Linus mentioned in one of his One Show podcasts that there was one time that someone tried to buy him out.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually connected to my old work.
Ah.
They tried to buy Linus out. They tried to turn him into an employee. Linus said no. No, Linus said no because it wasn't what he wanted to do. And here we are today. Now Linus has a multi-million-dollar business. He's doing multiple different YouTube channels. He's got multiple different silver and gold play buttons. I mean, that was a good move for him. Because had he gone the other direction, there would be none of this. None of this would have happened.
It would have wasted a
talent. Yeah, a talent, a business, the ability to grow and to have Canada have some sort of influence that was external. And I think he's done an amazing job. It's basically what I wanted for where I was, because right now they answer to a lot of different bosses. Either it's the sponsor, the government, or someone else. And they can't have their own voice right now. Like Linus can make fun of NVIDIA all day long because they don't pay the bills. Uncle Jensen doesn't pay his bills, right? Intel can sponsor can work with them, but they're just a small fraction of what he actually makes. It's so, how should I say?
There's more
so refreshing.
more freedom of content, right? Content freedom.
Yeah.
You can decide what you want to produce, right?
And
in terms
community.
Community.
He works for you guys, and you know it. He actually does, because he doesn't answer to anyone else. When he tests something, he'll test it to destruction. He buys a lot of the stuff that he tests. He doesn't rely on, oh, but you got to do this or you got to do that, but please send it back. No. This is going to die in our lab.
That's right. That's right.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, we're going to put a flamethrower and kill it.
Do something to it. So, that type of journalism, that type of coverage is actually very much needed. And I think that a lot of companies are starting to understand that they can't control that if they want people to take them goddamn seriously. I mean, like a lot of these companies have been trying to be so manipulative.
Manipulative, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
NVIDIA is one of them.
NVIDIA is one of them. And, like they know that. They know that. And that's why EVGA had to get away from that relationship. It just wasn't working anymore. So, right? But, we have that in Canada. He's, the entire company is Canadian, 100%. And it's something to be proud about. It's in our backyard.
That's true. That is true.
And again, all ships get lifted from those types of activities, right? That's why it's not such a bad time to be Canadian, because it's either they deal with Linus and he's going to push them, or he's going to deal with you.
like any company, not such a company, but any product, any company, you always need competition.
You do.
That's right.
Yeah. So he says so himself.
That's right. Even if we're not as big as him, of course, we don't know if we'll ever get that big. But hey, something I'm sure, maybe we're on their radar. Hey, who knows, right? Two Asian guys with 40 years experience.
I don't know.
Doing our thing.
Right? Got two Asian guys and two Caucasian guys on the Juan show versus our show. So maybe there's going to be a crossover episode, guys. If you do watch the Juan show, why don't you leave some comments for them and let us know about this little show right here? It's called Our Podcast Show. At Our Podcast Show. Just drop it in their comments and see what happens.
I love to see someone else's face. I won't say his name. But once he goes to Computex and see us doing our thing at the booth, two of us, yeah, you know what I mean? So
There are many people.
There'll be many people thinking, hey, what are you two doing here? Well, hey, we're doing our thing. We're doing our thing.
Hey, Uncle booth. Jensen. Hi. Uncle.
Hey, beat that. We're doing a thing in our booth, in someone else's booth. But hey, we're still doing our thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Oh, so let's talk about toys.
Toys. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So obviously the biggest toy that's sitting right in front of me right now is running part of the show, half of the show. It's the
new toy, right?
Rodecaster Pro II.
Wow.
It came out last year.
Okay.
It's one of the most advanced recording platforms out there. It basically does virtual routing and everything like that. It's every streamer's dream because it has all these buttons and stuff. And, you know, it makes me sad.
You can add extra sound effects, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I can also, like, let's just say that we have a special guest on, but he doesn't want his identity divulged. Then we
can talk like this, like some NFT guy. You know, I'm selling NFTs today.
So there you go. Yeah,
wow.
So it does all sorts of things.
That's doing it live, like real time.
Real time. So if I want to say what I want to say, hi, sorry, children, then I can go ahead and right?
That's really cool. I like that.
Isn't that amazing?
Okay. So they had a Rodecaster Pro first version and the second version. The second version has a lot more features.
It has a LCD screen that's huge. It it does 4 channels. It has lights everywhere. So you know, it's got RGB everywhere.
RGB. Okay.
Yeah, and it's just very compact. Very well designed. The only thing that I don't, and this is like a really technical, stupid thing, is that it doesn't have 32-bit. 32-bit recording only matters if you yell into your mic all the time. However, they call it the effects processing inside keeps your voice and everything at a certain level. It also tunes the mics that you use, like the SM7B that I have here. This is the Shure mic that everyone uses, like everyone from Joe Rogan all the way down to your favorite podcaster. They use this particular mic because it has low handling noise. I'm touching it right now. It just has a signature sound. Same mic that similar mic.
It's what all our podcasters use, right?
Michael Jackson used it to record Thriller.
Right. Okay.
So it's the same mic that he used to record that. It's a very famous sound, and it's giving me a lift. It's actually helping my voice out because if I turn off the effects, it'll sound a little bit flat. But because we don't have time every single week to tweak the audio, but we want it to sound good for you, it does everything for us.
So it's got like a preset kind of I wouldn't say auto tune, but it's got like that
auto EQ. It kind of figures it out. Yeah, like your voice right now. What you're listening to, what I'm listening to coming from you is actually already tweaked.
It's already recording. Already applied all the EQs on there.
So we're actually recording, like we're using the Riverside hack. We're recording the screen that you're, and I'm recording our entire podcast in audio format. Even though our entire show is a YouTube exclusive, we're recording the entire audio track so we can resync that with the video that we get from Riverside. And Riverside, the interface isn't all that great. It's a little bit pixely. So, hopefully one day we do get a studio and we get to record in 4K and everything. But I think that's kind of overkill. But as long as the audio is good, I think most of you guys will stick around. And hopefully I'm right.
That's right. Well, Stephen, you never know. One day we could get the podcast studio with all the right equipment and we'd be recording 4K. And we could even do live shows.
And live shows and everything like that.
That is our aim. That's my aim. That's my goal, right? Is to have a podcast studio where we can do all our thing. We can record not just the one show a week. We could even do 2 shows, 3 shows a week.
Yeah, with multiple guests coming into the show. And, that would be great.
That's something that I'm aiming for. And fingers crossed, everything should hopefully grow, and then we'll get there one day.
And we're also aiming for 1,000 subscribers by the summer. So that kind of leads us into the next thing. But first, I want to give you a chance to tell me about your latest gadget. Like what have you bought recently?
Actually, there's a bunch of stuff I bought, mostly accessory bits, right? Because I was recording, of course, with the camera and everything, and realized my HDMI cable was a bit faulty.
Oh,
now,
no.
I've used this cable for like over 3 years now, so with plastic, and then the connector, I'm plugging it in and out. That kind of failed, snapped, whatever. So I had to buy extra cables, HDMI mini cables to normal HDMI.
Oh, those are pain in the butt.
Yeah, I bought those. And of course, as you know, the audio is so important when it comes to recording podcasts. And thanks, Stephen, for recommending the equipment that I've got now, the Shure mic, SM57, I think.
Classic mic.
Yeah, and with the Rode A1 USB interface and that kind of stuff, it really helped my audio recording. I sound so professional.
You sound so good.
My voice is so good.
Yeah.
Honestly. Even with my other shows that I do live with for Kick It the Show Live and all that kind of stuff, the audio is so much better. The quality, the sound is so much better. But anyway, thanks, Stephen, for that. And I'll be investing in other professional equipment, hopefully some audio equipment as well. Streaming equipment is also important, so I'll be looking into that. Haven't decided which ones to get, though, but still looking into that. And I'll need a new camera. So I've got the Alpha 6400. That's over 3 years old. The Alpha 7C is a nice camera, but it's expensive. So I might have to wait until it drops a little bit. Or I might even pick up a A7 III or one of those.
I have an A7 III over here that I never use.
Oh, really? So they're cheaper for me.
Maybe.
But anyway, looking at these equipment. So, but it's always good to have spares anyway, because I only got one camera, right? The Alpha 6400. If that breaks, then I was just screwed, but I need to get another one. So it's always good to have a spare one, a camera, whatever brand it is. So, but I think the Sony works really well with the, what do you call it? Not the 60-minute hack, it goes off for 60 minutes or 30 minutes.
In the newer cameras, it's not a problem. It doesn't go off anymore. Right. It's not a problem. The problem was that people, camera geekery, everyone. The problem was that the battery started getting too hot while the screen was actually on the back. Right. You actually have to lift it off so that the whole heatsink has a chance to work. Otherwise, with the screen insulating the back panel, it would shut off because the sensor would get too hot. So that's a true thing.
It would shut off. Yeah, it would shut off. And also, I think it was a timer thing with the 60 minutes, but if there's like no activity, right?
Yeah.
And but now most Sony cameras allow you to connect it straight into your capture card.
That's right.
Which I'm running fine now. So, but thanks to the audio equipment advice from Stephen. He's helped me out with the audio. So, guys, if you want some advice on audio equipment for podcasting, streaming, whatever, leave a comment down below. Ask Stephen because he knows a lot. And if you listen to my voice with this audio, and this is an old mic, and I'm getting some really good sound, right? So if you like my sound on this mic, you know where to get the advice from. Go and ask Stephen.
And also listen to our podcast show with Matt from Pig Radio. We had a really great geek down discussion about mics and everything like that, where he's demonstrating some of his excellent miking technique. He's so much better than we are. Please listen to that show and leave Matt some love in the comments. He loves hearing from everyone. I think that's worthwhile, and he did put his heart into doing that because we screwed up the first time.
Oh, we did. Recorded. Yeah,
because it was a huge echo. So we re-recorded, and we actually got an even better show the second time around. But please give us some support on that episode. It really means a lot to us and also to Matt as well too, who put all that work into that for us. Yeah. So, speaking of products and everything like that, influencer life. Yes.
So you touched on that earlier about you doing your commercials and that and influencers. So tell us more.
So I'd always been doing this on the background. Again, with social platforms, you kind of have to have a community that's outside of your own purview. So I've been growing my Instagram for a little while now. And I've been trying to do it the right way. I know that a lot of people want those fast numbers. And I thought, hey, you know what? Why don't I grow it as slow as possible and see what happens? Right. So, it feels good to get that extra extra follow or 10, but then I started looking at the follows that I was getting, and I'm realizing they're private accounts, or they want me to message them for extra sexy times. I'm like, no, I don't want you. So what I've been doing in my entire account is, and I've been going back, and I've been looking at all the follows, and I've been banning them because they're spam, and I've been blocking all the accounts that they create. So my growth has not been great because of that. But I know that those 22,050, 60, 70 people that I have right now, they're real people. And that's shown up in my stats, because when I look at my own stats on some of the dashboards that are out there scanning people's influencer profile validity, I'm like 97, 98% real people. And my engagement rate is over 1.6%. So every post I put out, 1.6% of those 2,000 real people actually engage with me.
That's good.
Which is not bad, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So I've been doing it that way. And of course, I've had opportunities to work with other larger influencers. In fact, one of the things that I do every year, or every twice a year, is we've got together a bunch of dads. 5 Dads Go Wild is what I do. And this is kind of a group of influencers that are nano micro influencers. Like we're talking people that are 10,000-ish influence, reach and everything like that. And we just, go on trips together, but we try to bring sponsors in so that we have something to do besides talk to each other or drink.
Right.
And so we do pictures, we do photos, we create content. And this year, our first trip, we're going to Oregon coming up at the end of April, 21st to 24th. And we've got some really amazing sponsors that are coming with us. One of which is a company that I used to work for a long time ago, House of Knives. They're actually giving us some money to go into their stores, because they're literally the last chain in Canada that does culinary, because Bed Bath & Beyond is closed. A bunch of other places it's closed. Cook Culture is closed. It's harder to find a Williams-Sonoma now. So they're the place for culinary, but they also do sport knives and outdoor stuff as well too. It's a really eclectic mix of certain things. So we wanted to work with them to create content that shows that, hey, you know what? You can go to the store and check it out for things that you need on the road trip. So we'll be working with them. We're also working with a watch company. I mean, I don't really wear watches besides my Galaxy Watch 5 Pro.
Yeah.
And but I'm not like you, Winston, right? Where you would love to have a Rolex, and I'm like, I don't want to wear this on the street. So there's an amazing brand that is Canadian, and it's actually created by an Air Force captain in the Canadian Air Force. I have to find a little more about him, but he actually created a watch brand called Sparrowhawk, and they create like these amazing kind of watches for aviators. And he's giving each of us one to take with us to kind of, like, what do you think of this? Why is this important? And, like, that's just cool, right? Like, I've never gotten a watch that's this expensive, and I'm actually very thankful. So I want to find out more. So these are kind of the things that I do on the side. In addition to, as a content creator, you can't not exercise these muscles, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have to keep going, right? And
that's right.
That's the same with you too, Winston. I mean, I'm sure you're doing other things as well too that aren't Funky Kit, that aren't those things.
That's right. I've taken your advice and followed your example, to be honest. And me too. I'm a kind of some sort of influencer. It's not a huge thing, but not as popular as you, of course.
Oh, I'm not that no.
But my Funky Kit Show Live is doing well. It's a live show that we did for, complement the website Funky Kit. So that's happening just once a week. That's where I met Pig Radio, right? And he goes on to our shows because that's linked up with EVGA. We did a couple of things with them. We get around about 20, 30 live viewers on the Twitch. So, it isn't too bad considering the live show only broadcasts once a week. So, and as usual, I post on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. But those 20 to 30 live views on my live show equals to roughly 300 people in terms of like, what do you call them? Ongoing traffic kind of thing.
Yeah. Your regular community members.
That's right. So even if it's recorded live, people still go back to watch it if they miss the show.
That's good.
So it's so I'm doing that once a week for the live show for the Funk Kit, and then on my personal social media, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, I post my food stuff. Right, foodie. I'm a big foodie. Of course, my family runs a restaurant, so anything with food. I visit all different types of restaurants, cafes, take photos, and I've recently discovered, stupid me, right? I've done it for a while, is YouTube Shorts. I mean, wow. I'm starting doing that as well, and it's only a minute long. And I think this is YouTube only released it, I think it was late last year or
they've really started to double down on it, and it's starting to monetization is happening now. So they finally released that product.
And makes it easier for people who are already on YouTube platform to monetize it rather than being on Instagram or the other ones where you have to get like 50,000 followers before you even. I'm on my YouTube. I only got 12,000.
Yeah,
that's it. But I'm monetizing those little shorts, and it's only 1 minute long. But
it's weird. Shorts are the requirements are steep. If you're starting from the beginning and you didn't have monetization before, you need like 9 million views over the next 90 days to get into the Shorts program. But you also need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to get into the regular program, which is the AdSense program, right? So it's harder to be a Shorts creator because there's I think it's something like if everyone watched the short, they would have watched 7 shorts on the planet. Everyone watches 7 shorts per minute.
That's right. It's because it's 1 minute long.
There's so many people there's so many shorts being created that literally the content is like there's so much content out there.
Yeah.
So much.
I only post shorts as a complement to my existing stuff. So I'm not a main shorts guy. I mean, if I find something interesting or maybe a preview or something like that, I'll do a short.
Yeah.
But it's quick and easy, bang it out there, right? But for full content with the intros and outros, like editing, cutting, putting the music in, all that kind of stuff. So it takes a bit longer. It takes about a couple of hours to edit one video, and that's like 5-6 minutes long. It's like it's a lot of work.
In shorts, you can't send people off site. It's so short that if you wanted to get them to link send somewhere else, it's already done. Right? It's finished.
60 seconds, right?
It's finished.
So, yeah, but it's hard if you want to be an influencer. It's not simple. It's not easy.
You think it's easy? No.
It's not. It's again. I think we talked about that in one of our shows with was it Jacob? We talked about being an influencer and trying the community and that kind of stuff. It was a lot harder to kind of like come up with something good content that will drive your traffic but also give something value back to the community. And it's you got to do it, and you're not doing it every once a month. You're doing it every day, literally.
Something new, like very consistent, sustainable growth with the community behind you. Like they're expecting to hear from you. If they don't hear from you, they think you're dead.
That's it. It's like game streamers in Twitch, right?
Yeah.
So
10 hours to sit there. Oh my God.
Literally. And if you don't post anything or if you don't submit any videos or whatever, you drop your rankings or
you think you
drop
died.
So they'll follow someone else or they'll watch something else.
Yeah.
So it's and I think there's like burnouts, right? People.
Oh yeah, people burn out all the time, man.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be in that state. I don't want to be in that state. I want to enjoy what I do, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy what we do for producing podcasts and talk about topics and engage with the viewers and stuff like that. I want to enjoy it rather than doing it because I need the views so I can
to live, right? Yeah. That's very sad. I mean, a lot of Twitch streamers, they man, I don't know how they live. Like, I mean, you're sitting there for 10 hours. You're probably getting unhealthy. You're probably eating whatever you can get your hands on. You sleep, you come back, and then you're on again. Like, imagine that's a lot of hours. That's 70 hours a week that you're working.
I don't think I can do it.
I could never do that. I have other things to do. I have a life to live, and that's unfortunately sad. But some people, their life is your life. So you enjoy that, but you have to be able to, the community, any community needs to be able to say, hey, buddy, you need to take a break. You're looking a little ragged. Please come back fresh for us. Right? We'll be here still. Right? And I think that's something that YouTube is actually experimenting with is that if you need to close up shop for a couple weeks, they're working on these it's almost like a close sign. You kind of put it up.
Close sign, or maybe a collage of their past streams and
or something
videos
like that
for them to watch.
It just makes it okay for you to take a break, take a mental health break, so that you don't feel like if you don't put a video up this week that you're going to be penalized. So YouTube is working on, I think, that product right now where you can actually say, hey, we're taking a break for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Hope you can come back soon. Then that way people know that new content's coming, subscribe, and then they'll blast your first video or two out so that your audience will rediscover you rather than not see you at all. So, because everyone worries that as soon as you take off, that you're not going to get into the algorithm again. Right? And that's sad.
Yeah. Right. Well, we've got some exciting news, haven't we, Stephen?
Yeah, I think even in episode 1, we've been begging for a sponsorship for our podcast show, and please sponsor us. And we even put in our rundown spots for. I wish there was a sponsor here and here, but anyway, that was so sad. That was like,
we were experimenting. We got experimenting, right?
Right. Yeah. And Taiwan and COMPUTEX are officially welcoming back the world this year. It's going to be amazing. And thanks to Winston's hard work, our podcast show will be going international in June. We'll be there between the 28th of May to the 4th of June, and we'll be broadcasting live on the show floor. But I'm going to leave the presentation of who that will be with to Winston. Take it away, sir.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We're going to COMPUTEX. We haven't been since 2019, so that's almost 4 years. Yeah. I won't tell who the sponsor is yet because we need to make sure that, everything is all confirmed and everything. But in either case, we are going to COMPUTEX, and we've got some stuff lined up. For our rundown, but we will still need to, finalize and get that content locked down. So there's a lot of work involved. We still haven't finalized everything yet, but the good news is that we've been looking to do something like this together, me and Stephen. COMPUTEX is going to be a great event because we're going to do live shows there. We're going to be doing live podcasts. We're going to be recording with lots of different manufacturers, the people that want to see the products, right, and also speak to the people that are important doing in the shows. All the different product managers. We're going to be doing interviews with modders and possibly gamers as well. But definitely the stuff that you see on the floor, on the booths, we'll cover that as well. So it's going to be fantastic. Yeah. What's your thoughts?
It's going to be a very interesting time. I haven't been back to Taiwan in quite a little while. I mean, I especially COMPUTEX. Like I've been a couple other times.
Yeah. I did bump into you once. Sorry, I did not bump into you. I did bump into you in terms of you sent a text on Twitter or something. Oh, yeah, on COMPUTEX. And I sent back. I said, yeah, I'm here too. Let's meet up. But we didn't get to meet up.
It's so busy. It's like the show is so busy. Like either we see each other at an event or we don't see each other at all because we're always running around back and forth. And it was nice to kind of go on some of these other shows because when I went to World Congress of IT, which is not the same fun as COMPUTEX, it's more of a dry show about security and policy around the world. You have all the flags and everything, and all the delegates come in from all the countries, and they talk about cybersecurity. That type of show allowed me to at least see Taiwan because they knew that was boring, so they kind of shuttled us around because it's a press tour, right? And we saw all different sorts of like different things about Taiwan, their innovation, all sorts of other things. And I really appreciate what Taiwan brings to the tech market. We did a Taiwan show just recently. It covers why Taiwan is so important to tech. Because they manufacture up to 90% of all the chips in the world.
That's right.
They are both to praise for their ingenuity, but they're also one of the bottlenecks of the world when it comes to getting all those chips into your car. Like they make the most important things that the phone, like everything, like they make it. right? That's how important Taiwan is. And I hope you have a chance to listen to that show. It's in our back catalog a couple episodes back. But you can see why we're so excited to go back, because it is also the birthplace of bubble tea.
Oh yeah, that's right. And there's a lot of Taiwanese influence in Canada as well. So it's good to catch up. It's a place to catch up with old friends that we haven't seen for years, especially because of the pandemic and everything. But definitely something to catch up. And they do have great parties, of course.
Oh, the parties are fantastic. Although one of the taverns, the tavern underneath the bridge, New Ruby Tuesdays.
That's right.
I think that closed down, but the Brass Monkey is still there.
The Brass Monkey. Because I think every year Twigtown have a party there, right?
I think it's the other one. There's another one. There's two. They do it at the quieter one, because there's another one. We're all okay. For anyone that's never been to Taiwan, basically it's your classic expatriate bar. You have all the local ladies that want to meet a foreign man, and they go there to come meet you. So if you want a Taiwanese girlfriend, well educated, of course, right? They probably know how to build a computer. You go there, right? The nerdier you are, the more successful you may be, because you could be an IT professional.
That's true. Right? That's true.
Like they didn't pay attention to me because I looked like I was from there. It was so weird, right?
Yeah.
It's different in the Hong Kong one though, because they're all Filipino. That was funny. So wherever you are, you can always find a friend at the Brass Monkey.
That's right, the Brass Monkey.
Not an endorsement.
Good times.
Not an endorsement.
I like Brass Monkey. They do free food. That's what I like.
They do.
So
they do.
Yeah.
So.
But Taiwan is a great place to visit if you get the chance. And COMPUTEX is. I like I said, I like COMPUTEX because you get to see all the people that you've been emailing a lot, and once in a year, face to face, and we can do catch ups and everything. And it's great to see their faces when we turn up as media, and it's like, Stephen, come on, I got some stuff we want to show you, and then you gotta.
I remember telling Linus when we did a collab a number of years ago that, hey, dude, you need to go to COMPUTEX. I mean, you're a computer dude. People watch your videos and you're getting a lot of stuff. If you don't go to Taiwan at least once, you're totally missing out. This is the birthplace of everything that you hold dear.
Well, he's there every year now.
Yes, and I think that he loves going there. It's an interesting place. Obviously, he's gone so much that it's losing its luster. But I'm sure that he'll be back again. It's just a fun place and new things to see all the time. And it's not just the tech. It's just an amazing place to see the history of how this nation was forged, because it was forged in war. There were many wars over it, and one of the things that left its mark was, of course, the occupation of the Japanese during the World War. Is that much of the resources they found was all of the metals and everything from the bombed out battleships. That was the skeleton of Taiwan. Kaohsiung Harbor, one of the biggest shipping harbors in all of Taiwan, that was built on the bones of Japanese battleships. Right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to going back. I can't wait to have a steak there.
That's right. I'm talking about stuff like the equipment that we're going to take. Oh my God, we're going to be taking a lot of equipment. You're going to be taking that Rodecaster with you, right?
We're taking the Rodecaster, of course, because it does all the work for us. Why do all the work, right? So this is going to come with us for sure.
So some new equipment, probably like a audio mics and stuff like that. You're gonna source a bit of that, right?
I'm gonna find something that'll work for us. Yes.
Yeah. As usual, I'm gonna take my laptop. I think we got some capture cards, the Camlink and the EVGA capture card. Other stuff, usual camera stuff, of course, Alpha Sonys and the audio stuff, everything. We're gonna pack it up into a suitcase. No, luggage.
No, this is going to go check. This is going in the Pelican case into the hold.
But oh my God, it's doing that equipment checklist. It's going to be fun. It's going to be loads of equipment though.
Oh my God. Yeah. Still lots to work out. Everyone. Yeah. But I hope you join us. Those dates again. We're going to land on May 28th. We're going to be at the show from the first day of June, and we'll have special episodes and everything. We'll be creating exclusive content for our podcast show because we know that not everyone is into computer stuff. So we'll have more condensed shows for you guys that kind of talk about some of the latest things that we saw and what's important to us, so that we can kind of condense COMPUTEX into something that we can present to you. We'll also go around Taiwan and kind of see what's new and everything like that. I think that's worthwhile. And we'll record from different places, I guess, because we do have a Rodecaster. We can record on the rooftop of anywhere, and just
go anywhere.
Turn the camera on, and we'll sync the audio together when we're done, right? So it'll be a very interesting experience. And on that note, we have to end. Thank you so much for listening every week. Both the 191 of you already subscribed. Hopefully it's on 192, 993 by the end of the show. And all the rest of you that are thinking about doing so. It's a really great way to keep up with the show because it's available exclusively on YouTube, nowhere else. And it's the only way that Winston and I can let you know that a brand new episode is waiting for you, ready to listen. And if you want to reach out to me, you can get a hold of me on Instagram at Stephen Fung, or on Twitter until they ask me to pay. And Instagram, pay. Everyone wants the money. Where can people find you, Winston?
Yeah, same thing. You can find me on Instagram at Winston Chim, and also Twitter at Winston Chim. Talking about paying, we'll see. Internet's meant to be free, boys.
Freedom! But probably the easiest way to get our attention is to just leave a comment below. We aren't like those big podcasters that have thousands of comments that need assistance to go through them. We can still read and respond to you directly, every single one. So give it a try. And thank you for your support. We'll see you again next Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.